What's up everyone, welcome back to the studio. Today I'm going to be showing you how I put together this 3M anorak using Scotchlite 3M HTV and a Champion anorak that I sourced from SS Activewear. And I'll talk to you about the tips and tricks on how I make this happen so that you can make the same jacket using your own design, your own materials, and put this online and make some sales. So let's go. So for those who are unfamiliar with 3M is that reflective material that when the light hits, it shines, and right now there's no light hitting, so it just kind of looks like gray. And this is a white one that I did last year. So we're gonna be recreating this, but in a black colorway with the updated logo, and there's no chest hit or sleeve hits, but this one I kind of went all out and did it on every single part that I can press it on. So yeah, let's talk about why I like 3M and why I decide to use this jacket. So this is gonna be the jacket we're gonna be using today. This is the Champion anorak from SS Activewear. You can also get it from Alpha Broder. I do like keeping the branding because that way people know it's Champion, and people like tags when they receive a jacket. So it also comes with a neck tag here. So I typically just leave it as is. I had a plan in the beginning that I was gonna remove this and sew my own label, but honestly, the amount of effort it takes to do that, it's not worth it for me because I don't sell a lot of these. So I just kind of send it as is and I price it accordingly. So it's just like, when a solid windbreaker for working out or for when it's windy outside and you just want to go adventure out there, this is a perfect lightweight jacket. So let's go to the Cameo and I'll show you all the cut settings and just the tips and tricks on how to make sure that this comes out as good as it possibly can. So this is the 3M. It comes in a roll like this, like almost any other transfer that you buy. And this is from Stahl's, Scotchlite 3M. And right now it's on back order, so I'm actually a little bit worried because I don't have that much left. So I don't have a lot of room for error. So before we get to the cutting, I'm just gonna say that at this point, I'm gonna have a test cut using a small strip to make sure that my cut settings are right. And then if that looks good, we're gonna go straight to the design cut because again, I don't have a lot of material to waste. So yeah, this is the Scotchlite 3M. Kind of expensive. I'll put the pricing down here for how much it costs per yard, but yeah, this thing is a little pricey. So if you wanna use other options like Econo or Caesar, I would highly recommend it. I just like this a little bit better because the way it looks. It's honestly personal preference, and the name 3M just kind of goes a little bit further in my opinion. So not saying the other products are bad. Like I've used the Caesar one, it looks great. I actually did it on one of the jackets that I did a logo rip design for. And Econo, I'm not sure if I've tried Econo yet, so I can't really speak about it. But the Caesar one is pretty solid and it does apply at a lower temperature. So if you're using it on nylon or polyester, kind of like in this case, but I did find a workaround using the Teflon sheet, and also using a lower heat setting for this has been effective, and I don't have any scorch marks. So I'm just gonna show you all the settings that I use, and yeah, let's cut this up so we can get to the next part. And we are gonna be using the extra super strong tack, kind of like the brick, because this is very, very slippery. I've had a lot of this go to waste because the previous non-sticky tack mat would slide the damn thing around. And these things are damn expensive, so I would highly recommend using the extra tack mega tack and just save yourself some trouble. So yeah, this is the extra tack mat. Similar to the brick, I'm using the settings that I saved here in my notepad. So Scotchlite 3M. The latest I have is Blade 4, 417, Speed 7. So that seems to be what works for me right now. I did make a note saying that Blade 5 or 6 is better as of October. So maybe I did change the settings a bit, but I don't think it matters too much if you're off by 1 or 2 in terms of force and speed. I just like the slower speed because like designs like this have a lot of lines. So the faster it goes, the more I realize it kind of messes up the straight lines and circles. So by slowing it down, you get a more precise cut, and also you prevent any slipping on the mat. But yeah, let's go to the cutting over here and just make sure that the settings are good. We'll do 5. Let's see how 5 goes today. And then we'll adjust if we need to adjust it. And I'm gonna use this small strip right here to do the Vision Old English. And let's see how it comes out. And if we have to make adjustments, we have to make adjustments. But if not, we can proceed with the cutting. And I think I forgot to mention this last time, but you can get the cutter from Amazon. I don't think they sell it on Heat Press Nation, but what you wanna look up is Cameo 4 Premium Blade, 1mm, and it should be the first one that pops up. All right, and then let's get to the cutting. This is the real-time cutting at speed 3, so not the fastest, but it's always better to check than to waste a bunch of material. All right, it's done. Eject, peel it. So, all right, so you can see that right now, if I try to peel it, some of the parts kind of get stuck like that. So maybe I need to go a little bit deeper on the blade, but it stays on there, so that looks pretty good. But yeah, you want to just look out for parts that peel off easily, because this is sticky, so if it does come off, you can always put it back on. But you know, it's kind of annoying when the pieces come off. So let's see what this looks like. So that looks pretty clean actually, so that's good. Because yeah, normally if it wasn't a clean cut, these small pieces will probably get stuck. So I actually think this is okay. I'm gonna try and test the S as well, because the S I know has, if I can see it here. This is always a little bit hard to see without lighting, but all right, cool. So yeah, this is all peeling well. So let's move on to cutting the actual thing so I can move on to the next part. This is the last slab that I have of the 3M. So like I said, I can't mess up, so let's just hope for the best. I'm gonna use one of these vinyl sticker things to just smoothen it out, make sure there's no air bubbles, because we don't want any sliding. And you can test if it's gonna slide by just holding it down and, like, you know, use your palm, and it shouldn't move if it's good. So let's load this up and we'll do the cut. So here's a small tip and trick, but see how intricate these lines are? You wanna use an outline boundary to basically protect this shape, because if I just cut it straight, there's a good chance that it might not come out good when I peel it. So what you can do is you can add an outline here with this star icon. And what it does is it's gonna add an outset. So see how it created this red line around it? I know it's a little bit hard to see, but it created a boundary around it so that when I do the weeding, I can weed to that point and then treat that other part as a second shape, if that makes sense. Because otherwise, if I go into it with just one cut, it might peel off the edges and I might mess up the star. So little tip and trick that I picked up from someone on Instagram, so shout out to that guy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna delete the outline on the letters because I don't need it. I just need it around here. And if I put it around the letters, it's gonna be more weeding. So it's also good to just get rid of the stuff that you don't really need. And the way to delete the offset is you just click on the red lines that came out and just push escape, and then it'll get rid of it. So I'm getting rid of it around the letters, and I'm only keeping it on the star. So let's go right into the cutting. So we got the Cameo working right now, and my advice is, like, don't just run the Cameo and walk away, because I've had a lot of times when I thought I was doing fine and then I'll walk away and I'll just slice through the entire roll of HTV. So I know it's kind of annoying, but I do think you have to babysit this thing, especially when you're using expensive materials. Like, don't just think, oh, we're good, you know, cut this thing and then we'll just take a 5-minute breather. Like, I like to keep my eye on it just in case it messes up, because sometimes, like, you can save it, but most of the time if it does cut through your design, like, you're kind of screwed. So yeah, I like to just make sure that this thing is not messing around and we get the results that we want. All right, next we got the I logo. So you can see here, there's like a square boundary. So I put that so that when you cut the vinyl and you weed it, it leaves like a square boundary. So when you place it down, you can fold it in half and easily see the center line. So that's why a lot of times you see this square here. And the way you do it is you just click on the tool here, go to this, and then just drag a square and put your design inside of it. So it's very simple, but it does help you in the long run. So I highly recommend you doing that if you don't do it right now. I know weeding isn't the most exciting step to watch, so I'm just gonna quickly do this, but if everything cut right, this shouldn't be no problem. Nothing should lift off, everything should be clean. Like, that was a clean cut. So we're just gonna continue on with the weeding process, and we're gonna press it as soon as the press is ready to go. And as I showed you guys earlier, this square keeps this within the boundaries, so when I fold it and get it ready, it's easy to tell where the center is. And right now I put the flash on, so you can see, like, the material definitely looks a little bit more exciting with the flash. So yeah, I can't wait to put this in the jacket. Here's a close-up on that star boundary that we made. I already did the peeling, but y'all can see that because I made this boundary, I was able to take it off. Sometimes these edges lift up if I don't do this, so that's why we did this step, to just make sure that everything comes off clean, and it did, so everything is good. One more thing with the 3M is, once you weed it, make sure that all the corners are clean, because some of the first ones that I didn't know that there was some 3M stuck, and when you press it, you can see a little streak of 3M, and it really messes up your design. So this kind of helps to shine some light on it like this, because then you can see, like, if there was a little bit of residue, you'll be able to identify it. But this looks pretty solid. There's nothing left over on the film, but just make sure that you clean up the entire thing, because if you had like a little bit of a 3M stuck here, like a really thin slice, and you didn't see it, it's gonna stick on your garment. So just keep that in mind as well. Since we are pressing on a polyester jacket, I'm gonna go with 320, which is the lower range of the temperature range for this material. The upper range is 350, so if I was doing a 100% cotton t-shirt or something, I'll be doing it 350, but for this one, we're gonna keep it down to 320. And people recommend lower than that for nylon, but because this is polyester, and I've done this plenty of times, I actually did this at 345 before, so I know 320 is gonna be okay. So this is my settings for the press. 320 temperature, 20 seconds, and then pressure is gonna be really hard. So we'll calibrate the pressure once the thing heats up, and we'll get to the pressing soon. Typically for projects like this, you wanna use these heat press pillows because when you have a zipper or something like that, you wanna make sure that the top platen doesn't smash into the metal, which will leave an indentation on the other side of this onto your polyester shell. So this prevents that from happening. But I found a way to do this specific jacket without using this, so that I don't get any press marks at all. So I'm gonna show you all how I load this up onto the 16x20 press. One of the biggest issues is this zipper right here. If I did it straight on, even if I had the heat press pillow, you can't avoid the zipper if the top platen is gonna fall straight onto it, even with the heat press pillow. And I've done it several times, it still leaves a little bit of an indentation. So what I've been doing is I've been sliding this up closer so that none of the zippers, no cords, nothing is in the way, and it's just flat over here. Since we are doing a left chest hit, this is a perfect placement for the vinyl to sit, and everything is clear of the path of the press. To get the placement down, I'm just gonna first lay it down flat so it's easier to see, because it is obviously a lot easier this way than on the corner. So we're gonna use this. I'm gonna go 3 inches down, and then I'm gonna have the top of the artwork hit right where that red star is, maybe a little bit lower. This is a large, so it's a pretty standard fit. And the best way to know where to put your artwork is before you press it, just tape this onto your garment and then wear it and see if it's in a place that you like it. And if it is, then just make a note where it is on the shirt or jacket or whatever you're pressing, and then take a picture of it so you remember next time. I use my other sample, which I have over there behind me, as a reference. So when I do this jacket, I always remember where it's supposed to be. So this looks good. Looks like it's ready to rock. So like earlier when I said I'm gonna put it in the corner so the zippers are out of the way, this material works perfectly because it has a nice sticky adhesive for the transfer sheet. So we're gonna just carefully slide this down over here. Make sure all the zippers, drawstrings, or whatever these are called, adjustable plastic things are out of the way, and this didn't move. And then we're gonna use a Teflon sheet because we are dealing with polyester. And I do think it is nice to just guard your polyester from the heat or the press if you can, to just prevent any type of scorching to occur. And we're gonna combat the lower temperature by increasing the time that it gets pressed. So we're gonna go with the higher recommendation of 20 seconds. And I'm just feeling out the garment to make sure all the things that shouldn't be here are out of the way. And let's go for it. So 20 seconds on heavy pressure. Let's see how this goes. All right, and then we're just gonna peel it. It is pretty hot since it was on there for a long time. And you can see that there's no square, which is great. And on the transfer film, there's no black or garment color that got stuck on it. That's how you can kind of tell if you have a scorching, or maybe, I don't know what the proper term for that is, but I've noticed that in the past when I was doing this incorrectly, the color of the garment will be stuck on here, and that's not good obviously, because then it leaves a scorch mark. So this came out really clean, so that's a good sign. And then we're gonna give it another 20 seconds just to make sure that it's not going anywhere, because we did go with the lower temperature setting. So we got the front done. This is with the light on. You can see that it's nice and reflective, and there's no scorch marks, no weird stuff. Everything is clean of marks. So we're gonna flip the garment, and then we're gonna do the backside. What's helpful about this jacket is that there's actually a seam that comes when you get the jacket. Like you can see the zipper line that runs straight down. So that's a great reference to know if you are center to the garment. And then I'm using the Heat Press Nation splitter, so I'm able to avoid the front of the jacket. And that's really important, because if I didn't have this, I would have to use a heat press pillow, and I'll run into the same issues that I was talking about with the press marks where the zippers are. So the splitter is pretty essential to get this done right. You can do it without it, but you'll inevitably have that mark, and it kind of depends on you if you want it or not, but I prefer to not have it. So the back placement is a little bit trickier. So I'm gonna use my ruler, and I'm gonna probably take a little bit longer to get this right because I don't want this to be crooked. I'm gonna go 6 to 7 inches down from the back of the collar. So I just hold it straight. That's 6.5 inches. Keep my finger there. And then just make sure that the artwork hits around that point. And the way we're gonna do this is I'm just gonna have to use my tape measure and then measure the distance from the end of the letter to the seam on both sides and try to get that as even as possible. All right, so I made some adjustments and I actually got it pretty close to the center, so we're good to go. Use the Teflon sheet, give it that 20-second press. And then, yeah, we're gonna peel it and hopefully everything looks good. Remove the sheet. Everything comes off clean. No scorching. Give it that second press. And everything is good. And whenever I'm done, I like to just take it off, hold the sides like this, and just make sure that everything looks straight. And this looks pretty freaking straight and centered, so we did a good job. And then I'm just gonna package it and the customer can get this in hopefully 2 to 3 days from today. And this is the final product. We got the back side with the 3M Trust Your Instincts text with the star. Everything came out super clean. And the front has the I logo, so I'll say this is a job well done. I hope you enjoyed that demo today, and next time you're gonna use reflective or 3M on your jacket, don't be scared it's gonna leave a scorch mark, because as you saw, using the Teflon sheet and bringing the temperature down definitely helps a lot, and also positioning it correctly on the heat press is really important. So with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to support my channel, you can subscribe, like, share the video with a friend, or if you don't want to do any of that, that's cool too, because I got stuff at my shop at IKendoit.Shop. And if you want to check out any of the links where I have my materials, machinery, and all listed, that'll be in the description box below as well. And yeah, just let me know what else you want to see, and I'll catch you all next time.